You may have a great message, but if we can't hear you, we've got problems. Ever been in that situation where you're in a movie theater and you can't understand what the people are saying on the screen? It's frustrating to have to turn to the person next to you and be like, "What did they say?" The same thing can happen on your videos. It's all about making sure that you're getting your voice to the microphone. The technical term for this? It's projection. And today we're going to talk all about projecting your voice. So what do you have to do? Well, in some cases, not too much. For instance, here, I have a clip-on mic. So pretty much my audio just needs to go whoop down to there. I can talk in a relatively normal voice, like I'm talking to another person. You don't want to ever yell at the camera. Raising the volume of your voice doesn't necessarily mean you got to be shouting and stuff like that. But I want you to keep in mind that more and more of you are using smartphones to record your video. That is fantastic. Smartphones have gotten a lot better with their internal microphones at picking up your audio. They can filter out a lot of the ambient noise that's in a room. That's good. But still, you have to help it out a little bit, and sometimes people fall into some bad habits. Here's one that happens. Some people may be talking inside their mouth. So I'll illustrate this principle. So right now I'm kind of talking to the camera, almost as if the camera was a person. The microphone here is picking me up. You kind of hear what that sounds like. If I'm talking more inside my mouth, I'm not really projecting anything out. There's not really, if I put my hand in front of my mouth, I don't even feel any air coming out. I'm just kind of talking in my mouth. Now some people do this a lot. When this happens, the microphone is kind of like, what did you say? It's like the person in the movie theater. So I want you to think of the smartphone or your camera, whatever you want to use to pick up your audio. Think of it like a target, and you are using your voice to hit that target. Now this may seem strange, but I want you to think about it like this. Let's say you're on a playground with a child and you see them maybe getting on something that's a little risky. You want to make sure you're communicating to them. Now while you might yell at them, you are projecting your voice to them. You're making sure you're sending the message to them. Hey Bobby, be careful. Same thing can happen. So almost in your mind, start to think about, how do I project my voice to something that's 2 feet ahead of me, okay? How do I project my voice to an object that's 5 feet ahead of me? So you're talking to that object. You're projecting your voice. If we had cool infrared technology, we could probably see how the air actually can flow out, other things with sound waves. But that's the gist of it. You want to think about your voice hitting that target where you want to go. When you are talking to another person, they're right there. You can see them. You can imagine it. Or sometimes you're in a very quiet space and you can be talking to someone very low, but they're hearing you because they're just in front of you. Or other times you're at a rock concert or something like that. You have to talk really loud even though the person is relatively close. So you project your voice to them as much as possible. So really watch out for that situation where you're just kind of talking inside your mouth and you're saying stuff, but it's not really projecting out and there's nothing really happening there because people are going to have a hard time understanding what you're saying, even though you're saying everything relatively well. I know, it sounds funny, but just pay attention to it. So if your audio isn't quite coming out as sharp as you think, first thing you might want to do, maybe move up the mic. But the next thing I want you to really do is think about how you are projecting your audio at the camera. Another quick little tip. If you do have a clip-on mic, make sure there's nothing that's covering it up. One, that can lead to kind of a rubbing, which doesn't sound good on a microphone. Two, it might be shielding things. So if I kind of covered up this microphone has a hard time hearing me. Make it easy for the microphone to do its job. So, hope you enjoyed this tip. There's over 50 other ones on my website, helpwithvideo.com. Lots of great resources there. Find out more about equipment that you might want to use as well. And of course, if you like these tips, like the way I think about things, I think you would really enjoy my podcast. It's the 2-Minute Takeaway Podcast. You can download it from iTunes. Lots of productivity tips there. Things to give you an edge. Little short bites of information. I will talk to you soon with another video tip. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.